Great, I'll get on with the presentation. Statutory disclaimer we just missed. The copy of this will be on the website. So just a quick introduction to Condor Gold. We've got 2.4 million ounces of gold at high grade 4 grams. Half of that is indicated, half of that's inferred. And of the 2.4 million ounces, 1.2 million is open pittable and 1.2 million is underground. The strategy of the company is to construct a base case 2,800 tonnes a day processing plant with the capacity to produce 100,000 ounces of gold a year, and to continue with our successful exploration work and add another 1 million or 2 million ounces of gold. The investment highlights. We've got a pre-feasibility study. We are London listed. We have a secondary listing, or a dual listing I should say, on Toronto as of last year to give us a higher profile there. On our PFS, we have 80,000 ounces of gold production for a 7.5-year period. We can do that quicker in 6 years and mine 100,000 ounces of gold a year. We're fully permitted. That took us a 3-year period to get permitted, but we're fully permitted as of last year to construct and operate the mine for 10 years. I've mentioned the size. We're looking to expand that, and this week we'll be announcing that we're putting in environmental social impact assessments for 2 high-grade feeder pits that it's 120,000 ounces at 8 grams and another one at 4 grams, so super high grade. That'll expand the production to 120,000 ounce production for a 7-year period. In terms of the economics, we're about $12 an ounce in the ground. We're $6.90 all-in sustaining cash costs, so lower quartile globally. We're pretty undervalued, and we've got potential for some early cash flow. We're looking at toll refining opportunities in the country with nearby mines. I've mentioned this resource. The management team, I've had 14 years of the company. The first few was non-exec chairman, and the last 8 have been full-time as we had a full project in Nicaragua, and I'm 24/7 on this. I own 5% of the company and got a bit more under option. And I'm there 25% of my time in Nicaragua. I've just come back. We had the British ambassador to Nicaragua and Costa Rica came up to the site with me 3 weeks ago, so that was great. And I met the Minister of Energy and Mines, so yeah, that's encouraging too. We have Dave Crawford, Chief Technical Officer, ex-Newmont's been with us for 5 years. Warren Pratt actually works for Ross Beatty quite a lot of the time, and he's been working on the project for 3-4 years. Our senior geologist. The general manager is the ex-mine superintendent at B2 Gold's mine, El Limón mine. He was there with 6 years. He's been with us for 2.5 years. There are 53 people on the payroll. The bulk of those have been with the company for 7 or 8 years. The senior managers, that is. It's a good team locally. Here's some public company comparisons. We're pretty cheap. We're just, I think, we had an incident in Nicaragua last year where unfortunately there were 320 people killed. We saw a halving of our share price on the back of that. All I can say to everybody here is I've been back 10 times since then. We don't use armed guards, don't intend to go around. So it's fairly stable, business is back to usual in Nicaragua and has been for the last 12 months, and the government's permitting everything and lets you have 100%. Going on to the project, here's Nicaragua. Great jurisdiction, you get the concessions for 25 years there, you own 100%, as I said. There are 6 companies. We've just seen a good sign of confidence with Calibre Mining spending $100 million US to buy B2 Gold's mines down there. And Maku Mining in the north have just raised 26 million Canadian, so to build a 500 tonne per day mine up near our Potterias concession, actually adjacent to it. So money's going into the country despite the problems last year. It's low sulfidation. I've given you the highlights here before. I should add, as previous speakers have done, that this is a former producing mine. That's a great sign. Over 500,000 ounces of gold produced at 13 grams by Noranda of Canada. I've doubled the concession package in the last 2 years, where we picked up the southern strike extension, the northern strike extension of the district. The core of the area is La India, America Mestiza. That's 2.1 million if you add it up. The feeder pits I spoke, we're permitting, we have permitted, sorry, in La India vein set, La India open pit of 900,000 ounces of gold. That's fully permitted. And going north of that, there are 2 feeder pits there, which we're putting the permit application in the next 48 hours. These can all be expanded along strike and to depth. That's the core of the project. Here's Landier open pit. So what's it look like? Well, that's a photo of it. You have $2 billion of gold sitting there. That's your 1.3 million ounces. The top 2/3 of that is open pit, and the bottom third is underground underneath the pit. And these are our PFS numbers. I mentioned the low 690 all-in sustaining cash costs. This is all done at $1,250 gold, so there's scope for that to be improved significantly. And of course, on indicated ounces, only indicated ounces are in a reserve number, so there's another 10% inferred there, which will convert. Here's some drilling, some great high-grade drill results. I haven't put these on for a while in presentations, but to remind people, we've got in the pit 10 meters true width at 34 grams over an ounce. We have 6 meters at 32 grams. Near the surface, we've got drill hole 3 there, 25 meters at 7.7 grams. So it's lots of drilling on this. There's 80,000 meters of drilling on the project in total. These are all 50-meter spacing going down, and hence your 3-gram open pit with those kind of grades. There's a 10-to-1 strip ratio on the pit, but the grade more than carries the strip ratio. This is what's permitted. The outlying area, excuse me, is the mine site infrastructure. It's 501 hectares. And the pit that I've shown you there will produce, after mining dilution, mining recovery, after metallurgical recovery, will produce 600,000 ounces of gold from a single pit. Routes to early cash flow, I've mentioned possible toll refining, and we had B2 Gold's mining engineers came to site and took samples earlier this year from Landier open pit, put it through their labs in their mines, operating mines, and came back with 94% recovery. That's fantastic gold recovery and confirms the route to CIP plant that we're going to use on here. And it was also 12 grams, which is quite handy. That's a photo of one of the veins, or the main Landier vein. Expansion, so apart from producing 600,000 permitted, so we only have a third of our project permitted, just to give you an idea. There's plenty to come. The feeder pits I've touched on, and we actually have 4 feeder pits in total, not 2, but we're just permitting the 2 biggest ones. We also can expand the resource underground. Underneath the pit on a long section here, this is the southern end of that pit. You can see, probably better on the screen here, that underneath the pit there are 4 drill holes, roughly about 200 meters. Each intercept is over 10 grams per tonne gold, and the average width is over 8 meters. That's great grades, and it's totally open to the south. So when I speak about 120,000 ounce production, it excludes 1.2 million ounces of underground, which we can bring into the mine plan later. Resource expansion, the 3 vein sets, we can just drill down dip, and we can add almost 1 million ounces. We have all that drilling good to go, should we want to do it, but we're not going to do it at the moment because the market won't reward us for adding ounces. This is more the district play. This is what Ross Beattie wanted to see when he's put $2.5 million in the company. So we've done the soil geochemistry, we've done the helicopter-borne geophysics, we've done structural geological models. It looks like it's a very big district. There are 2 major regional faults going through the project. And the geologists are quite confident we can get to 5 million, money provided. There's a bit more about the district. It's a large land package. So what are we doing now? I put this slide in because we're slightly in between the devil and the deep blue sea, in the sense that what we're doing is not sexy for the stock market. So what are we doing? We've got offers out on all the land. That's about 50 landowners. About a third of that's accepted. We'll get the rest of it. It's a negotiating process, as people understand, or buying farms and fincas and stuff there. We're fully engineering everything. We've awarded the contracts to Tierra Group in Denver to fully engineer the tailings storage facility, the water surface management. We're finalizing the engineering studies on the electrical power, the backup power. I had a meeting with the minister. They're putting a substation for us nearby. The government couldn't be more supportive, and word for word for the minister, we're behind the project, we're supporting you, we want the mine to go up. That's one-on-one meeting with him 2.5 weeks ago, after I took the British ambassador up here. So, this is and we'll make it bigger with these feeder pits coming in. So this is what we're working on, and we're trying to get the project de-risked totally turnkey, ahead of a construction decision, and we think that's going to be good for us. The minute bell. Social license, we take this terribly seriously. We're working with the World Bank IFC for about 4 years. We're spending $20,000 in the community. We're running social programs with elderly committees, pro-mining committees, youth committees, water committees, artisanal miners. We deliver 360 water canisters every week, 5-gallon water jars. There's no drinking water up there. We have 12 people in the social team. There's a new 50-page third quarter environmental and social report on our website. So we do that voluntary. That's been put up this week, so I'd encourage you to look at it. So the investment case, just to wrap up, we've got a PFS for 80,000, fully permitted. We're going to add feeder pits. Those will come through quite quickly, I hope. We can add in underground. We can get to 150,000. And in terms of the share capital structure, we have Jim Mellon has increased his shareholding. In July, we raised $4 million. He's got 15%. Nicaraguan Milling Company, new shareholder, put in $2.5 million. Ross Beatty and myself have got shares, and that concludes my talk. Thank you very much. I'm around if people want to chat afterwards.